The sun cast a golden glow over the dining table, where Alex and Lila sat sharing their usual weekend breakfast. To anyone looking in from the outside, they appeared like the perfect couple, content, comfortable, and deeply connected. But Alex knew better. He had noticed the changes in Lila. Subtle at first, the way she spent longer getting ready for work, the increasing number of late nights, the guarded smile that no longer reached her eyes. For months, he had pushed the thoughts aside, chalking them up to stress or the natural ebb and flow of a long marriage. But now, sitting across from her as she scrolled absent-mindedly through her phone, Alex felt the distance between them like a chasm. "Hey," he said softly, trying to catch her attention. She looked up, startled, as if she had forgotten he was there. "You've been distracted lately," Alex said, forcing a smile. "Everything okay?" Lila hesitated, her fingers hovering over the edge of her coffee cup. "You, of course, work's just been a lot." Alex nodded, pretending to accept her answer. But the nagging feeling in his chest refused to be silenced. That evening, Alex suggested dinner at their favorite Italian restaurant. He hoped that some time away from their routine might rekindle the spark that seemed to be fading. Lila agreed, though her enthusiasm felt forced. As they sat in the warm, cozy ambience of the restaurant, Alex noticed her fidgeting. She kept glancing around the room, her fingers nervously twisting the edge of her napkin. Finally, she spoke. "Alex, I've been thinking," she began, her voice measured but shaky. He sat down his glass of wine, his heart tightening at her tone. "What's on your mind?" Lila hesitated, then took a deep breath. "Maybe we need to try something different, to bring back the spark." Alex blinked, thrown off by her words. "Different? What do you mean?" She shifted uncomfortably, avoiding his gaze. "Like giving each other a little freedom. Just one night, no strings, no judgment. A chance to, explore." The air seemed to leave the room. Alex stared at her, struggling to process what he had just heard. "You want a free pass?" "It's not like that," Lila said quickly, her voice rising defensively. "It's not about not loving you. It's just a little fun, a way to feel alive again." Alive? The word cut through Alex like a knife. Wasn't there life enough for her? Hadn't he given her everything? His time, his energy, his love? "Lila," he said quietly, his voice trembling. "If that's really what you won't talk about it later," her relief was almost palpable. She smiled, reaching for his hand. "Thank you, Alex. I knew you'd understand," but as they left the restaurant, Alex's mind was already racing, formulating the beginnings of a plan. The days following Lila's shocking suggestion passed in a haze for Alex. While Lila appeared lighter, almost buoyant. As though the weight of voicing her desires had lifted her spirits, Alex found himself sinking deeper into despair. Every moment they shared felt hollow. A cruel parody of the life they had once built together. At breakfast, Lila hummed softly as she spread butter on her toast, her tone cheerful. "I've been thinking we should redo the living room," she said, glancing up at Alex. "Maybe some new furniture? A fresh start?" Alex, sipping his coffee, forced a smile. "Sure, whatever you want," but inside his thoughts churned. A fresh start? Was this how she framed her betrayal? A redecoration to mask the cracks she placed in her foundation? As the weeks went on, Lila's demeanor changed. She spent more time in front of the mirror, perfecting her makeup. She laughed more freely, though the sound grated against Alex's ears. It wasn't laughter shared with him. It was something else, anticipation. One evening, she stepped into the bedroom, wearing a dress Alex hadn't seen in years. It clung to her figure, accentuating her curves. "How do I look?" she asked, spinning slowly. Alex's throat tightened as he forced a response. "You look stunning," her smile brightened, and she kissed his cheek before heading to the door. "Just meeting some friends for drinks," she said casually. As the door clicked shut behind her, Alex sat in the silence of their home, staring at the emptiness she left behind. Behind the facade of indifference, Alex was anything but passive. He moved with careful precision, consulting a lawyer to safeguard his finances and preparing for the possibility that their marriage might not survive this betrayal. He began transferring cherished personal items, family heirlooms, important documents to Rick's house. Rick, ever the loyal friend, was a voice of reason and caution. "Are you sure this is what you want to do?" he asked one night as Alex boxed up his belongings. Alex's jaw tightened. She treated my trust like it was disposable, Rick. I can't let her get away with this. Rick nodded, but remained hesitant. Just don't lose sight of who you are, Alex. Revenge can burn you too. Alex didn't respond. His mind was fixed on the long game, each step deliberate and methodical. When Lila announced the night, she planned to use her pass. Alex masked his true feelings behind a calm exterior. "You okay with this?" she asked, her voice hesitant, but tinged with excitement. Alex gave a small shrug. "If it's what you need, I won't stand in your way." Lila's smile was radiant, and she kissed him on the cheek before heading out the door. She had no idea that this moment was a turning point, not for her freedom, but for Alex's meticulously crafted revenge. The hours stretched endlessly as Alex sat alone in their home, the quiet pressing in on him. He poured himself a drink, the amber liquid swirling in the glass as he stared at the clock. When Lila finally returned, her makeup was smudged, her hair slightly tousled. She moved quickly past Alex, offering a hurried excuse. "It was just dinner. Nothing serious," she said over her shoulder. Alex didn't respond. He simply watched her retreat to the bedroom, his silence speaking volumes. The next morning, Lila was unusually affectionate, kissing Alex's cheek and bringing him coffee in bed. "We should plan a trip together," she said brightly. "Just the two of us," Alex smiled faintly, masking the storm brewing inside him. "Sure, we'll talk about it later." Over the next week, Alex's plan unfolded. He met with mutual acquaintances, subtly planting seeds of doubt about his and Lila's relationship. He dropped hints about moving forward and finding someone who valued trust. The rumors spread quickly, and Alex knew it was only a matter of time before Lila heard them. One afternoon, he posted a carefully curated photo on social media, a picture of himself with a colleague, her smile warm and inviting. The caption read, "Grateful for second chances. Trust means everything." The reaction was immediate. Lila's messages flooded his phone, each one more frantic than the last. When Alex finally agreed to meet Lila, he chose the same restaurant where she had first suggested the free pass. Lila arrived looking frail, her face pale from sleepless nights. She sat across from Alex, her hands trembling. "I've made mistakes," she began softly. "But I know we can fix this." Alex's expression remained unreadable as he slid an envelope across the table. "What's this?" Lila asked, her voice shaky. "Open it," Alex said evenly. Her hands trembled as she unfolded the papers inside. Her eyes widened as she read the word separation agreement. "Alex, no," she whispered. "This isn't what I want." Alex's gaze was steady, his tone cold. "You want to freedom, Lila? Now you have it." Lila sat in the bedroom they had shared for years, clutching the separation agreement with trembling hands. The words blurred through her tears as reality sunken. Alex was serious. He wasn't bluffing. He wasn't angry in the way she had expected. His calm demeanor made it all the more devastating. For the first few days, she clung to denial. She called Alex incessantly, leaving voicemail after voicemail. "Alex, please, we need to talk. This isn't what I wanted." She tried showing up at Rick's apartment, only to be turned away at the door with a firm but sympathetic, "He doesn't want to see you right now, Lila." The walls of their shared home seemed to close in on her. Every photograph, every piece of furniture, carried memories of a life she had taken for granted. The weight of her choices pressed down on her like a physical burden. Alex, meanwhile, was resolute. His silence wasn't born from anger or spite. It was calculated. He wanted Lila to sit with the consequences of her actions, to truly feel the emptiness her decisions had created. At Rick's apartment, he spent his days focusing on rebuilding. He threw himself into work, hit the gym with renewed determination, and reconnected with old friends he had drifted from during his marriage. Each step was a reminder that his life didn't have to revolve around Lila's betrayal. "You seem lighter," Rick observed one evening as they shared a drink on the balcony. Alex nodded, staring out at the city lights. "For the first time in months, I feel like I'm in control again. It's freeing." Rick smiled faintly. "Just to let her pull you back in. You've come too far to let her drag you down." "She won't," Alex said firmly. "I've made my decision." Weeks passed and Lila's desperation only grew. She sent Alex long messages, alternating between pleas for forgiveness and angry accusations. "You're being so cruel, Alex. I made one mistake, and you're throwing everything away." Alex read each message, but never replied. Lila's carefully constructed facade began to crumble. At work, she struggled to focus, her thoughts consumed by regret and self-loathing. Friends started to notice her erratic behavior, canceling plans at the last minute, breaking down in tears over trivial matters. "Are you okay?" one colleague asked cautiously during lunch. Lila forced a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "You had just a lot going on at home, but it wasn't just at work." Lila's once vibrant social life dwindled as whispers of Alex's supposed new relationship spread through their mutual friends. One evening, scrolling mindlessly through her phone, Lila came across Alex's social media post. The image of him with another woman, a warm, confident smile on his face, was a dagger to her heart. The caption read, "Grateful for second chances. Trust and loyalty mean everything." Her heart raised as she stared at the photo, her mind spiraling with questions. Was it real? Had he truly moved on so quickly? Without thinking, she dialed his number. To her surprise, he picked up. "Alex," she began, her voice trembling. "Is it true? Are you seeing someone else?" There was a long pause on the other end. When Alex spoke, his tone was calm, almost attached. "Why does it matter, Lila? You were the one who wanted freedom." "That's not fair," she cried. "I didn't mean it like that. I thought we could work through this. I didn't think you'd replace me." Alex's response was firm. "I didn't replace you, Lila. You replaced us the moment you decided we weren't enough for you." The call ended, leaving Lila in a flood of tears. When Alex finally agreed to meet her for dinner, Lila was a shell of the woman she had once been. She arrived at the Italian restaurant looking frail, her makeup unable to hide the sleepless nights etched on her face. Alex, on the other hand, looked composed. His tailored suit and confident demeanor made him seem like a man who had already moved on. Lila fidgeted with her napkin as they sat across from each other, the silence between them thick with tension. "Thank you for meeting me," she said softly. Alex nodded, but didn't respond. "I know I've hurt you," Lila continued, her voice trembling. "I thought I needed something more, but I see now that it was a mistake. I don't need freedom, Alex. I need you." Alex leaned back in his chair, his expression unreadable. "Do you know what I needed, Lila?" he asked. "I needed loyalty. I needed a partner who respected the life we built together. But you decided that wasn't enough." Tears welled in Lila's eyes. "I was wrong. I know that now. Please, Alex, just give me one more chance. I'll do whatever it takes to fix this." Alex reached into his pocket and pulled out an envelope, sliding it across the table. "What's this?" Lila asked, her hands trembling as she opened it. "Consider my answer," Alex said calmly. Her eyes widened as she read the legal document inside. "You're divorcing me? You wanted freedom, Lila," Alex said, his voice steady. "Now you have it." Lila broke down, her sobs echoing in the restaurant. But Alex stood, adjusting his jacket with a finality that left no room for argument. "This is your free pass," he said quietly. "A free pass to move on without me." With that, he walked away, leaving her alone to face the consequences of her choices. For Alex, the weeks that followed were transformative. He finalized the sale of their home, signed the divorce papers, and closed the chapter on his life with Lila. He poured his energy into rebuilding, taking on new projects at work, traveling to places he had always dreamed of, and exploring hobbies he had long neglected. Slowly but surely, the weight of betrayal lifted, replaced by a newfound sense of freedom and self-worth. Lila, meanwhile, was left to grapple with the emptiness of her decisions. The life she had taken for granted was gone. And with it, the man who had loved her unconditionally.